Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to a very special live webinar today. We are going to be talking about Pinterest, which is a huge opportunity for e-commerce sellers. And to talk about Pinterest, I've got Joe Reichfield with me. Before we go into the presentation and before I bring Joe over to share his slides, I want to talk a little bit about India Sourcing Trip. And in case people watching are not aware, we're currently running a very special offer for India Sourcing Trip in association with Days of Nuggets. Now, Days of Nuggets is a free event that was held yesterday. Was a free live 8-hour event where more than 20 Amazon and e-commerce experts came together to share free information, to share their knowledge and expertise, and to raise awareness and money for an organization called Operation Underground Railroad that actually helps save kids from child sex trafficking. So it's a great cause. India Sourcing Trip and I was part of the initiative. I gave a presentation there. And if you donate at least $100 to Operation Underground Railroad via Days of Nuggets, you will get a $500 off on India Sourcing Trip. That's coming up in April. Apart from a lot of other prizes, there are over 70,000 worth of prizes to be won. I think there are about 2,000 worth of prizes that are guaranteed. And so this $500 off an India Sourcing Trip is a guaranteed prize. So what you need to do is head over to go.daysofnuggets.com, sign up there, do a donation of $100, and then within a day or so, they will send you an email on how to redeem all of the offers. Okay, cool. So let me now bring on Joe, and let's start talking about Pinterest. There you are. Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us. I am so excited about the topic for today. I actually watched your video on Days of Nuggets, and as soon as I watched that, I was like, oh my God, this is huge. I have to do a webinar with you. So I'm super excited. So you've got some slides to share with us. But before you start, sharing your screen and dive into the topic, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background? How did you end up in e-commerce, and why Pinterest?
Okay. Well, I've been in e-commerce since 1996. I started full-time in 1999 with my own store. My ex-wife was kind of artistic, and she liked to paint cow skulls. So we had all these cow skulls hanging out at our house, and we wanted to sell them. So I started this website. And within a month, I had 30 Southwest and Native American artists that made furniture, art, jewelry, all kinds of stuff. And we did really well. I had that till 2003. I ended up selling it for cash to a corporate executive out of California. It was cool. It was a lot of fun. I live in the Southwest U.S. in Arizona, so this is cowboys and Indians kind of thing. So that, and it's popular. The jewelry, the art. Mexican style furniture, all that stuff is really popular. And we did really well with that. I started doing SEO seminars locally here in 2003. And then just kept consulting and just got on Amazon selling. I've sold on Amazon, eBay, Jet, Walmart, Monster Commerce, Rakuten, Newegg, Buy.com. That's just me. And then with clients, I've sold on another 13 or 14 marketplaces all around the world. In 2010, I stopped dealing with 3P sellers and just started dealing with corporations, large corporations, brands, branded vendors that sold across multiple channels. And I did that with just them until 2017. And then I kind of drifted back to 3P sellers when I saw the training and education stuff that was being offered to them. It was it frustrated me, so I thought I'd get back into this. And so I own eCommerce Optimizer. I have another agency, but I'm not as involved in that as much. But I have eCommerce Optimizer. I offer coaching through the website. We also offer workshops, and Pinterest happened to be the first workshop that I did. And while I was putting it together, I had to rewrite it because Pinterest was changing so much. And in the year and a half since I wrote it, I've rewritten it twice, and it's ready for another rewrite, actually, because Pinterest just keeps changing. They took advantage of Facebook's involvement and being tied up with Congress and not paying attention to what was going on. And they made a lot of changes and got themselves out in front of Instagram. And Pinterest is it's the number one source of free buyer intent traffic. Can't knock it.
Yeah, nothing can beat free.
Right, exactly. And before I got in e-commerce, I was also consulting in a different industry. I've owned businesses going all the way back into the 80s. So I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in business for a long time. And I'm different than all the other mentors and stuff on Amazon in that I use things that I learned before e-commerce. I'm following a lot of the same processes I followed offline in the 90s, things that I know work, building communities. I mean, you can't go wrong there, and it's bulletproof. Amazon is huge here, but they're not huge everywhere else. They don't dominate everywhere else, and sellers overlook that. But when you're on multiple marketplaces in different markets, you see that, and you learn differently. It's just different. You get a different feel for things. I can't knock it. Amazon's a great platform, and one you can't overlook if you want to be taken seriously in the U.S. But it's got its, like anything else, it's got its good parts and its bad parts, sometimes more than others. But I don't. When I work with my clients, we steer clear of TOS. We don't mess with that stuff. So then when things change, there's no issues. I don't have people, I don't have people that got affected by the recent TOS changes because they're not asking for reviews in that fashion. They're not doing that kind of stuff. So it works out. It worked out. A lot of them drive off Amazon traffic because that's what I teach. And so that protects you, so when something happens on Amazon, you still have your own traffic.
Right.
And that really helps. And that's where Pinterest comes in.
Cool. Okay. So do you want to start sharing your screen now, and let's just dive into your presentation? I took a look earlier and it is full of amazing, actionable information. So
fantastic. We have a lot to cover. So if I go too long, let me know. Let's see.
Yeah, and so all of you guys watching, if you have any questions, type them in the comments section on the Facebook post or LinkedIn, wherever you're watching, and I will read them out to Joe after he finishes the presentation. But I'll be keeping track of all of the questions. Okay, so there's your presentation. Do you see your slides there?
Yep, I sure do.
Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to you now, and I'm going to remove myself from the stream. So take it away, Joe.
Okay, I'm going to plow through this because we have a lot to cover, but I'll keep it simple as I can to help you understand this. Okay, Pinterest is huge. If you don't know this, Pinterest is about to be bigger than Amazon and Twitter. Pinterest has almost 340 million members now. When I first wrote this workshop, it had 250 million. So they've gone up almost 100 million in a year and a half, which is crazy. It's insane how big they are. The best way to think of Pinterest is that, Twitter is mostly about what I am doing now. Facebook is about who I am. Pinterest is about who I want to be. Pinterest is a planning platform. It's a visual search engine that people use to plan things. And how can you plan anything without spending money, right? So 93% of Pinterest users use it for planning, planning things, be it weddings or a vacation, what they're going to wear, a party. It started as a wedding planning site and just kind of grew from there. 77% of Pinterest users have found a brand or new product on Pinterest. And the thing you got to keep in mind, 85% of Pinterest users are on mobile phone. So you need to optimize for mobile. Pinterest is the world's catalog of ideas. Find and save recipes, parenting hacks, style, inspiration, and other ideas to try. That's straight from Pinterest, the CEO of Pinterest. So here's some information about Pinterest. It started in 2010. They went public in 2012. This 320 million users, that's the middle of November. So they're coming up on 340 million now. There's 2 billion monthly searches. Pinterest is 60% women and 40% men. However, there's more men signing up for the last 18 months than there are women. So it used to be 80-20, now it's 60-40. 80% of US mothers on the internet use Pinterest. 85% access it using their mobile phones. And there's 1 million businesses on Pinterest. That's a very small number when you really think about it. If you're not on Pinterest, you can't sell items on there. That's the whole thing about Pinterest. People use it to plan, and they go there to search, and they pin products. They seek out brands after they see it. 87% have purchased something because of seeing it on Pinterest. If your items aren't on Pinterest, you're not going to see those sales. That's the whole gist of this. You can drive off Amazon traffic. You can drive Pinterest traffic to your website. You can drive Pinterest traffic for content. But if you're not there, you can't drive any traffic. People use off Amazon marketing as a way of protecting their Amazon sales and protecting their account, which is a good idea. However, you can use Google ads, you can use Pinterest or Facebook ads, you can use YouTube and YouTube ads, you can use Pinterest or Pinterest ads. But Pinterest itself is free traffic. Who can complain about free traffic? You can do all this without running any ads and without spending money if you know what you're doing and you focus on what you're doing. So Pinterest is a tree. Pinterest is made up of RSS feeds. An RSS feed is a feed from a website, a blog, a newspaper, of the stories. It's in text. It's all text. So Pinterest, you see these categories here. Pinterest has 32 broad categories and 6 specific categories. Each one of these is an RSS feed. And the subtopics are also RSS feeds. So they all bundle together. When somebody first signs up for Pinterest, it asks them to choose topics that they like. And what they're doing is they're choosing these RSS feeds. And when they first sign into Pinterest after that, their pins from those feeds come up on the screen. So this is about SEO. Pinterest is a visual search engine. They're not a social channel. They're not a social platform. They're a search engine. And it's a search engine that's used for e-commerce. Right now, Pinterest is what Facebook was in 2015. By 2023, Pinterest is going to be what Facebook is now, but to e-commerce, not social. So it's the early adopters. I mean, we all see that early adopters seem to do really, really well in this business. And it seems that way on Pinterest as well. So all of these categories and subcategories and topics that are followable, forget the word category and think keywords and long tail keywords. That's what these are. These are keyword categories, basically. And then the subcategories, which I'll show you, are long tail keywords. So if you focus your board names and your pin structure on using these titles as titles and just in your descriptions, you have a chance of coming up in one of these feeds. And if you do, you'll see that it opens up all kinds of doors for you. There's a lot of bloggers that use Pinterest to refer traffic back to their site. Mom bloggers in particular, they're generating a ton of traffic. I can't tell you how much traffic they're generating off of this. And it comes from doing SEO and doing Pinterest best practices. As a content creator, be it a product or words, Pinterest sees you as the creator. They want you to be the person that pins first. By doing so you put up a new product, the first thing you should do is pin it. You write an article or you put a product on your own website, you should be the one to pin it. And what you're saying to Pinterest is, here's my original pin. This is what it's about, and this is how it should be categorized. From that day forward, any other pins that are created on that URL, all the analytics are attributed back to that original pin. So Pinterest wants to work with you as a creator and let you help them categorize your product. If you don't do it and you don't pin and then somebody else does it, well, then whatever they put on there for title and description categorizes your product, and it might be wrong. It might be completely wrong. One thing to remember about Pinterest, and when you're setting up your board names and your pin names, is that you need to use these category names and topic names in your title and in your descriptions. So if you sell kayaks and you create a board called Joe's Weekend Fun, nobody's ever going to see it. But if you create a board called Kayaking and Outdoor Activity, you have a chance of showing up in the outdoors feed and the kayaking feed. And I'll show you how to find those. So remember, category is a major keyword. Top level topics will be your main converting keywords. Subtopics will be your long tail keywords. You want to incorporate these into your titles and board names, utilizing section names as your subtopics or long tail. You want to fill the boards with highly relevant, engaging pins that are tied to the titles, both of your content and other people's content. You'll achieve even better placement working these category names and topics into your pin and description boards also. So here's some of the potential rewards, okay? If you have that kayak and the outdoors category feed has 82 million followers. So you create a pin called Kayaking and Outdoors, or board called Kayaking and Outdoors, you have a chance to show up in the feed of 82 million followers. Now, not 82 million people aren't going to see it. They don't all look at their Pinterest feed every day, but you're still, 1/10 of 1% of that is a lot of freaking traffic. Health and fitness, 41.4 million followers. And now they also have another metric on here called tried it. So people can say, I tried this, and you get extra points for that as well. It's very, very important that you're on top of this stuff. So so before you start saying that your niche has nothing to do with the outdoors or kayaking, mine doesn't either, but you have to find a way to include it. The art of success in Pinterest lies in finding sub-niches to your main niche and ensuring those correspond with what is most popular. So if, let's say, your niche is do-it-yourself, then you should set up your first 5 or so boards that cover not just your main niche topic, but related sub-niche topics as well, such as gorgeous paint and wall coverings, tools that make the job easier, what to wear when carrying out do-it-yourself projects for kids and snacks. Do-it-yourself projects for kids, and also snacks, smoothies, and juices to do yourself. So do you see where I'm headed with this? Now you've gotten into all of these different categories and subcategories that, you're just do it yourself. So through those different board names, you got into home decor, you got into tools, you got into do-it-yourself projects, you got into food with your snacks and smoothies and juices, you got into multiple different places. So when you create a pin or when you create a new product, you should create 4 or 5 different pins for each property that you want to post. So you have a new product on Amazon, you have 5 images on Amazon, turn those into pins, and you want to focus the title and the description on a different category and or subtopic. So think of it like a long tail keywords. You're going to have, if I sell kayaks, you're going to have keywords like outdoor water fun, outdoor water rafting, or kayak gear, things to do with your family on things to do with your kids on the weekend, things like that. Those are different topics. So you want different boards that focus on them for SEO. That's how you come up in multiple feeds. And that's where the art of all of that traffic comes in. Seriously, it can blow your site up. So here's health and fitness again. Here's the sports category. 228,000 followers with 37,000 tried it. That's crazy. And when you look at this, it also says 133 million people saving ideas and thousands of ideas and images to try. And then under health and fitness, it says, it doesn't say anything more there. That's crazy when you think about being able to get your product in front of that many, even a small fraction of that many people. It's nuts. And it could blow out your inventory. So there are 4 principal factors that affect whether or not your pins show up and where. And those are domain quality, pinner quality, and relevance. Domain quality is your site, or if you're sending people straight to Amazon, it's Amazon. Well, Amazon domain quality, you can't affect that, but you actually can, in that your pin needs to be about where you're sending them. So if you have a pin about baseball and it points to a product page about soccer, that's domain quality. Pin quality would be your image, your text, the overall quality of the description and the title and how that relates back. Pinner quality is you, and it comes down to, are you consistent with your pins? You'll hear people say you should pin 100 times a day, 30 times a day. Do you have time for that? I sure don't. You want to pin, if you can pin a little bit every day, that's great, but you want to pin consistently. So if you pin 3 times a week, always pin 3 times a week. And there are tools out there like Tailwind that you can use to schedule your pins a month in advance. So you can pin 3 times a day, 5 times a day, and set it all up on one Saturday at the end of the month for the next 30 days so that it is consistent. And it works. That's the way to do it. Unless you want to spend a ton of time on Pinterest, that's the way to do it, and be regular and consistent. Use a scheduler. So from a user standpoint, Pinterest's goal is to show relevant, engaging content that you're interested in and you want to save. The more engaging the content is, the more popular it becomes as it's shared and appears in more and more places. When you first pin a new item, the very first time, it's shown to your followers. Their engagement with it tells Pinterest how much it sends a pin quality signal to Pinterest. And Pinterest uses that to decide where else they're going to show the pin to people that are interested in that topic, but that are not currently following you. So remember I said in the very beginning, people, when they log in, they follow these different categories. So people that find you through Pinterest, that's warm traffic. Okay, they're already looking for your category or your product. It's not that you're throwing ads out there trying to find them. Just regularly through Pinterest, these people are warm. They're looking for you. Pinterest doesn't show your pin to people that have not expressed an interest in your category. That's the nice part about it. Oops, wrong way. Rich pins. Pins that contain a clear call to action in their description along with the URL are far more effective, and rich pins make this even easier to achieve. Rich pins contain more information on the pin itself than the average pin, and there's 6 types of them. So when you have a website and you have schema data in the code of the website, which Amazon does as well, that information is with your pin. So it'd be title, description, things like that. If you have a Shopify site, it'll be the price as well, which is really nice, and availability. So there's 6 types of rich pins. There's an app pin, a movie pin, a recipe pin, article pins, product pins, and places pins. You have to apply to get rich pins, and you can only do this if you have a business account. You want to have a business account on Pinterest because it gives you access to rich pins, it gives you access to Pinterest ads, and a few other things that make a difference. In your Pinterest account, you only want to have relative pins. If you want to, again, if you're selling kayaks and you want to pin something about, going to Italy or whatever, pin it to a secret board. You can have secret boards nobody sees. Anything you put in there does not affect the rest of your account. You don't want that to send the wrong signal to Pinterest. You want Pinterest to only think that you sell kayaks and kayak gear. And that will make sure you're getting your pins in front of the right people. You have to apply for rich pins, and there's a validator to have them enabled. It's not very complex. It's worth the effort to claim your site and use rich pins. Each rich pin requires different meta tags, and a lot of times it pulls it right off your site. I think that rich pins are invaluable to marketers in all areas of marketing. And forget that last sentence. Okay, so let's talk about pin quality. Pin quality is about images, all right? So remember, 85% of people using Pinterest are on their mobile phones. So you want long images, and you want text that's readable. So I'm going to show you before and after for good and bad pins. These pins, can you read this text here? I can't on the second one, or on the third one. The text is in the middle with this big old black spot up top. And the colors on these are not super great. One thing about Pinterest is bright colors get more clicks. And if you increase the saturation by up to 50%, you get 30% more clicks on those pins. The other thing is you want your text. This text is worthless on this second pin here because it's hard to read. You want your text to stand out. Remember, it's on a mobile, so you want your text to be big enough for somebody to read. If you have a picture, let's say this wreath here, they show this wreath on a front of a bar, the door of a bar, and the picture's taken from across the street. And the name of the bar is above the wreath. Pinterest is going to read the name from the image and read the text from the image, and you're going to confuse it with the name of the bar because it'll take it into it. It won't immediately know that this is about a wreath. So Pinterest is the most advanced AI image search available. If you upload a picture of a rose and you don't add a title, you don't add a description, you just upload a picture of a rose, it's going to come back with additional pins of rose pictures because it can read that it's a rose. It's really good for fashion and home decor because you can upload an image or a pin of a style of clothing that you like, and Pinterest will show you additional pins of the same style. It's pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool. But so I wouldn't say that these pins are not very good. And they have, this one here the third one's been shared 569 times. It's got 141 likes. And the fourth one has 865 shares. Now that information is no longer available on Pinterest. You can only see that on your own pins. This was just anybody's. Now let's look at how I would change these pins and how they're more effective. Same exact pins. Now look at them. Okay, so let's go back. And now look at them. Can you tell what that second pin is about? Can you read it? How about the third pin? I moved the text up to the top. Now look at this fourth pin. Let's look at the before on the fourth pin, the wreath. And now look at it. You can absolutely read the font and the colors pop out. But there's something to point out on this fourth pin. You see where it says easy paper? Don't use swirly fonts because Pinterest has a hard time reading them. The very first pin where it says diaper babies, that's okay, but easy paper on the fourth pin won't cut it. Pinterest won't be able to understand that. Something to keep in mind. So let's look at these again. There's that. Even in the first pin, look at the changes in the very first pin, before and after. When I first looked at this first pin, I didn't know what it was. I really couldn't tell what it was. They're diaper wrappers of some sort. But at least with this, it stands out some more. I added color to it, and I cut the background out of the one. On the second pin, I just moved the text and made it readable. You can still see plenty of stuff, plenty of image. The third one, obviously, I moved all the text up to the top. I mean, in this image, what's the sense of having the black spot up on top? And then the fourth one we already spoke about. So your images, don't use small landscape shaped images. So sometimes you'll see pins that will have 10 images all in one pin, and they're really small. Well, can you see that on a mobile phone? No, you can't. And what you do is you just keep going. Just like Amazon, when you have a crappy title and a crappy main image, they don't even open your listing. So the whole point is to get the click. They click on the pin and it will open the pin and show them more information. That's where your URL is, et cetera, et cetera. Let's look at this one here. So Pinterest has product pins. There's some cool features about Pinterest, and they're all really new. They've all of the stuff we're going to go through here in the next couple minutes is stuff that's come about in the last 12 months. Okay, so here we go. This first example is Pinterest as a visual search engine. This, uploading this image, this is what Pinterest is looking at. It's looking at the jacket. Okay, it's going to look at the hat and other things, but it's looking at that jacket. So if you just upload this image, it's going to come back tomorrow and it's going to show you, or later, and show you more images of this exact jacket or something very, very similar to it. It's pretty interesting. So product pins, they're probably the most exciting for marketers, as they include real-time pricing and availability and where to buy. You can take advantage of the feature that alerts pinners when the price falls by more than 10%, as you can run sales to create a rush of interest. Product pins open, so if they go to buy this will take them directly to your website or to Amazon so they can purchase. Takes them right out of here. And this doesn't cost anything to have product pins. So if they decide they want to purchase something that's here, it will take them right to it. See, here's a recipe, and it's got, and if you could see more of it, it would have all of the recipe items, the ingredients detailed out. It's really, really cool. So if you have a website, like a Shopify site, you can upload your catalog directly to Pinterest. You just export your product feed, which is that spreadsheet that's got all your product information on it. You change a couple column titles, and then you resave it in the back end of your Shopify site and point Pinterest to that spreadsheet. Pinterest will automatically create buyable pins. They don't charge you nothing. It's free. You can't complain about free. I can, at least. So another new thing about Pinterest is now you can have videos, and you can have carousel. You can have carousel videos. You can have carousel pictures. Video. We all know video rules. Video rules marketing. People like video and they like to interact with video. So it makes sense to use video and to use it well in your pins. So here's a sample. Let me show you this. There's a video. There's a carousel. No, dang it. You're not seeing that. Wrong screen. Let me move this over.
Yeah, we're not seeing the video.
Yeah, I was watching it.
And we won't be able to. Is there sound in the video?
No.
Because
No.
no. Okay, cool.
So that's just a regular carousel ad. Which is cool. I mean, you can take this, you can create this and put all 4 or all 5 of your product pictures into one pin, which is nice. REI, that's who that's pins from. They do a great job with their account. They're actually one of Pinterest's featured advertisers. Okay, so let's get into Pinterest ads and some of the things you can do with Pinterest. One of the things that makes sense with Pinterest, and we're going to go on to Pinterest itself as well here. You can find out search volume. You should be using Pinterest to research keywords for your Amazon listings. You should be using Pinterest to get ideas of products to sell. It's real world data that isn't tied to Amazon, where you're getting skewed data, from the API that might be old. This is all real world data. So when when you have a business account, you have access to ads. You can go into it and check your keywords, and it will give you search volume. So let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, let's go into ads. You're not actually making an ad. You're not committed to spending any money. You just go into ads, hit continue, scroll down here to keywords, and type your keyword in. So let's go with inflatable collar, since that's already in there. So this would be an inflatable dog collar. So that's too specific, and it's not going to come up with anything. But you won't want to back it out and go a little bit wider. And this has all kinds of things. This is a little too wide because this is a dog collar, and what does readings have to do with it, or chowder? So then we come back in and we try dog. And it's going to have different keywords that some of them you can use. So like dog tags for dogs, do-it-yourself pet collar, 5 million searches a month. And you can just keep going and going and going. How to make dog collars, dog accessories, do-it-yourself, dog collars, do-it-yourself, collars, dog. Let's try something else. Let's get rid of that. Some kitchen utensils. Here we go. So I would use this. That didn't bring up anything either. Let's try one of these other ones. Prenatal vitamins. Let's take that with folate out. All right, prenatal vitamins. So you have baby vitamins, vitamins for fertility, fertility vitamins, fertility supplements, fertility boost, increase fertility. These are some serious search volumes. This is real-time search information. So when you look at this, let me point something out here. See, it says 60 million monthly active users. That's all of these. There's going to be overlap. I don't use that number. I look at these. All right. So if you're actually creating an ad, you can add these keywords as targets by just pressing the plus, and it gives you, it loads them up there. That's another way just to make a list as you're doing this. But I would check your keywords that you're using and check them for search volume, because sometimes you come up with something that's got 100 searches a month. Do you want to use that as a keyword phrase? Not necessarily, but you want to check, maybe it's too long of a keyword, because you'll get 4 and 5 word phrases here, like workout while breastfeeding, 5 million searches. I mean, this isn't down to the nitty gritty single person, but those are good numbers. I mean, just for prenatal vitamins, which is pretty broad, those are good numbers. So now let's take this back to where it was, prenatal vitamins with folate. That's too specific. It doesn't get that close. So this is, but let me show you that again. Look at what it says, potential audience size less than 10,000. If you use prenatal vitamins with folate in a title, you're still going to get volume on prenatal vitamins. That's part of long tail. With long tail, as you sell items using long tail, you start ranking for the subtopics and the phrases that are in the long tail itself. And that's the key. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I was actually a beta tester for GoTo and Overture.com in 2000, which was the original PPC before Google even. And off Amazon SEOs understand that the money's in long tail. You can't compete on 2-word phrases on Amazon or 1-word phrases, and a lot of people bid on that stuff. You can't compete against corporations that have bottomless budgets. So go for long tail. Amazon does 57% of their sales on long tail phrases. Most sellers do less than 10%. There's a reason that they don't say much about long tail phrases. It's a great way to generate sales. A very good way to generate sales. All right, so let's close this.
I'm just going to jump in here. There's one relevant question that I want to read out. So this is from Aaron asking, have you seen success targeting DIY keywords for normal products? I know DIY is huge on Pinterest.
DIY is actually the biggest category on Pinterest. If it's something that you can use in a do-it-yourself project, definitely yes. There's ways, there's different ways to tie different categories to what you're using. If you just put do-it-yourself soccer because you sell soccer balls, are you going to get any traction from that? What's the sense? You're getting in a category with a keyword phrase that means nothing. But let's say to get traction on that, okay, do-it-yourself soccer balls. You're not going to get anywhere. But if you do something like do-it-yourself soccer field, and even though you're selling soccer balls, you're focusing on somebody that makes their own soccer field in their backyard or soccer goal. Well, that's where you might get traction from. You have to be creative about how you tie these things together. Have I seen success on do-it-yourself soccer balls? No, not at all. But we've seen a lot of success on other things. I have a client that through competition and everything on Amazon, she went from, she was doing 100 sales a day a year and a half ago. Then she got down to 50. Then she got suspended for something. And when she came back, she was doing 15. We started running Pinterest ads. And this was without a profile. We just started running Pinterest ads. And this was, her product is in the baby niche, and it's a competitive product, but there wasn't that many people with it on Pinterest. And she immediately went to 35 sales a day within a week. And within less than a month, she was back up over 100 sales a day. That improved her Amazon ranking. And so she's doing, I think, close to 150 sales a day, because you have that off Amazon traffic plus the Amazon traffic. Amazon rewards off Amazon traffic very, very nicely. Social backlinks, social links, traffic coming in from off of Amazon. Think about it. Amazon has only really grown through acquisition. They're pretty much the same size they were just a few years ago. 4 years ago, they were at 300 million. Now they're 350 million in 4 years. That's really slow growth. All the social channels around Amazon, due to some Amazon inventions and advances, are now towering over Amazon. Every day on Facebook, 5 times Amazon's total worldwide membership logs into Facebook every day. That's huge. So Amazon likes this off Amazon traffic, and they reward you. I don't recommend anybody to ask for reviews personally. Even, whether you're asking for a positive only or any kind of review, we don't ask for reviews. Instead, we focus on things we can control. You can't control a review, but you can control the factors that affect whether or not you get a review. You create an outstanding experience, differentiate yourself. Think about it. An Amazon Prime buyer, I think they say, buys 9 different times, and they buy 4 products 9 different times a month. That's a lot of people asking for reviews. How are you going to stand out to that buyer so that they think in 3 weeks they still remember this incredible experience they had with you? What comes through your messaging, your packaging, your listing itself. You want somebody to look at your listing, and just like on Pinterest, when someone looks at your pin and you want your image to make them say, wow, look at this, I want to know more, click. Then they get to your Amazon listing, and the goal with your Amazon listing is that they look at this and they say, oh, wow, look at this. It does what those others don't. I want this. I need this. I need to order this now. And they hit buy before they scroll. So it's visual. The brain makes decisions based on things you see 60,000 times. It's 60,000 milliseconds or something before you actually register what something is. Your eye has already decided whether or not it likes it. People eat with their eyes. When you go in a restaurant and the server is walking up with the food in their hands and you see your plate before it's even in front of you, you know whether you're going to like it or not before it's set down in front of you. People make that decision. People eat with their eyes. Remember that when you're creating your images, you're creating your pins and your messaging, the first thing people see is your image. You only get one chance at a first impression. So it's really worth the effort. People spend all this money on product sourcing and having products made and all this other stuff, and then they get it. They go to make the listing, and they won't spend the money to have the listing done professionally, and they put up half-ass pictures. And they do things on other sites as well. They put up a Facebook ad and they spend a ton of money on it, and they don't put any effort into having the right image and the right message. That's the most important. Some of those are the most important places where you need to focus that money. So it's a mindset thing.
Okay, we do have a few other questions, but you go ahead and we'll do the questions later.
Okay, I'm almost, I have 3 slides left, so we're almost there. So you want to test your creatives, just like on Amazon, and just like anywhere. It's all about A/B testing. So on Pinterest, you can have multiple pins for a product. You should have multiple pins on your product. Look at these 2 pins here. This is a video. The bird is a video, and it shows, this isn't linked to the video, but it's a video, and it shows the person actually drawing, creating this image versus just this pin of brushes. What's gonna make you want to click and want to see more? You have different formats. There's just like on anything, you want to test one thing at a time. If you have a pin that is not doing well, it's not getting traction, don't delete it. Create a new pin with a different description and title. Why do I say don't delete it? Because what's popular now may not be popular in the future, or vice versa. So you might create a pin for Christmas this year and it gets no traction, but it's still up. Next year it might get traction. So when you send out a tweet, the average life of a tweet is 50 minutes. The average lifespan of a Facebook post is 3 hours. The lifespan of a Pinterest pin is 7 months. That's crazy when you think about it. If you run a promoted pin, or you run a pin ad, if anybody saves that ad while it's running, their save of it is converted to a regular pin. And when you stop that ad, their save of it is still there. It's there forever. Other people can share it and pin it as well. So be cognizant of the URL that you're putting on your pin when you run a pin ad. But I mean, that's the gift that keeps on giving. You might run a pin ad and stop it in a week, and in a year from now, you get a click for it or clicks for it. There's a lot, I mean, there's a lot of value in that. When you run a Facebook ad and it stops, it's gone. You don't get any juice from it because it's gone. Nobody can find it to click it. So there's a lot of value in Pinterest, and you want to leverage it to your advantage. So again, the key to Pinterest is SEO: titles, categories, keywords, subtopics, getting those right. Otherwise, you won't be seen. Let's see a little more about Pinterest. Here's promoted pins, and this is about promoted pins or pin ads. 90% of Pinterest users say Pinterest helps them decide what to purchase. I mean, that means your ads or your pins are being shown to a remarkably responsive audience. Promoted pins, at first glance, promoted pins look like regular static pins, but they have a small promoted label down at the bottom. See right down here. And their promoted pins are boosted and targeted to reach more people. Users can pin your promoted pins to their boards, share them, and comment on them. Once a user shares a promoted pin, the promoted label disappears, and subsequent repins are considered earned media, meaning after the first pin, organic exposure to the content is free. Who can knock free? I can't. All right, so let's go through and go over some best use scenarios for you of things you can do and things you can do to get going. So you want to optimize your images, which we went through. You want to make sure your links work. So every pin you post, you add a URL to. You want to make sure you're putting the right URL on the pin. So test it before you save it. Okay, so look at this image here, the lips. You want to zoom in, close-up images. People have a hard time sometimes coming up with images to use, and it's about impact. You sell lipstick? Do you need to show the face and the counter that the lipstick's on? No. Sometimes you zoom in, and it gives people a better idea of what you're doing. So you want to add links in multiple locations to your pins. So what does that mean? You want to add a link maybe in your description as well as in the URL spot. You want to use both wide and narrow keyword phrases. What does that mean? That means use long tail and use broader phrases. So outdoors for kayaks. Outdoors is your broad phrase, but kayak gear, kayak accessories, kayak gear for river rafting, things like that. That is long tail. So you're getting further into it. Tag influencers. What does that mean? Within Pinterest, and I'll show you, we'll go to Pinterest here in just a second. Within Pinterest, you can find influencers actually fairly easily, and you can tag them in your pin, mention them, just like in content, they say, in your blog post, you should mention other high value blogs and reference other sites and link to them. It's the same thing with your pin. It gets an involvement. They might follow you back. Some of the most popular pins on Pinterest are list pins and step-by-step tutorials. Listicles are really popular. So what's a listicle? A listicle is a piece of content that you might write, a top 5 list or top 10 list that gets shared a lot. Graphics get shared a lot. So if you have an image on your Amazon listing of your product and you have words all around it, with arrows of the different features, share that to Pinterest. That is a high value pin. So if you have an image like that on your Amazon listing, what do you need to do to it to make it a pin? I just put my logo on it personally. That's what I would do. Pinterest pins, size-wise, your image size should be 2 by 3, 2 wide, 3 tall so that it fits a phone and fills up the screen. That's the goal of your Pinterest images. On Amazon, everybody goes for square images. Well, the reality of it is on Amazon, 80% of buyers begin browsing on their phone, and 64% of them convert on a desktop. But my opinion is if you don't optimize for mobile and you don't catch their attention when they're browsing on their phone at first, they're not going to click on your listing later on when they go to buy and they're on their desktop. So what we tell our clients is if you have the appropriate item for your images on Amazon, use landscape, long up and down images. If you look at that, some of those on Amazon, you'll notice that they actually, on mobile, they look much better. And even in mobile search, in the search results, they take up more space. When you have a square image on an Amazon search result on mobile, there's a lot of white space under the image. So we transitioned our clients to vertical landscape images on Amazon 3 years ago, and we've seen sales increases from it. Some items, are not vertically, inclined. They're, square or they're vertical landscape. I don't recommend to make vertical landscape images of your products on Amazon unless they're all that way. You don't want somebody looking at their phone and have to turn it and shake it and hope the picture moves. You just want nice up and down images. You want to use rich pins. Promoted pins, once you get used to Pinterest, promoted pins work very, very well. It's about targeting and about nailing down your audience. You need to know your audience, regardless of what site you're using, Pinterest, Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, even on Amazon. If you don't know your audience, if you don't know them really, really well, you're going to mess things up. Your message isn't going to be right to them, and it's not going to be clear. Know your audience. Create buyer personas. They really do help. Connect your catalog to Pinterest with buyable pins. Upload your catalog for free to Pinterest. They create the pins based on the information you give them. Can't knock that. And then when people hit buy, they go right to your page and make the purchase on your page. Pinterest is a great place to launch products. Pinterest is a great place to pre-sell products that you're going to have if you have images, and you should. It's a great place to build a mailing list. You can use it to create interest and send people to a chat bot before your product is even in stock, and get the opt-in through the chat bot. Give them, a lead magnet. And now you have a mailing list. Now you have a launch list that you can email before you launch your product that you don't have to do a giveaway for. Pinterest users spend 40% more than any other social media referral. Think about that. They spend 40% more. Pinterest even says, don't offer them a discount. You don't have to do giveaways or rebates. People take that as a rude, as a reference, and they think it's rude on Pinterest. But yet I still see Amazon sellers all the time. They have to do that giveaway because that's all they know. Marketing is not about giveaways. Marketing is about solutions. It's about solving problems. People, they don't need a giveaway if you're solving a problem and you can get that message across to them. They're relieved that you've helped them out. Show your product uses. So lifestyle images work the best on Pinterest. Images without a face actually do better on Pinterest than images with a face in it. However, some items you can't help it. It's just part of the item. But use lifestyle, and your lifestyle images are going to be the best ones to use. And create listables and how-to images with your Amazon products, or any products for that matter. If you have instructions for your products, take those instructions, make them PDFs, then go to SlideShare or Google Sheets, turn it into a video, create a video pin, post it on YouTube as well. point to your Amazon listing or point to your store. Video sells product. They say by the end of next year, 82% of internet use is going to be video. Start creating video. You might not be able to post it to your Amazon listing because you're not brand registered. Fine. Post it other places. Post it on YouTube. Post it on SlideShare. Post it on Vimeo. You want to be everywhere. Pinterest, it's all about brand awareness. Amazon is America's cash register. People get to Amazon, they're ready to buy. Well, and you'll hear people say 66% of all searches for products begin on Amazon. Yes and no. Before that point, they have to decide that they realize that they have an issue that needs solving, that there are products that they can use to solve their issue. They're on Google looking for that stuff. They're on Pinterest looking at products, planning things. Then when they go to buy, that's when they go to Amazon to do their search. Your key in marketing is to get into their mind, get into their understanding before they get to Amazon. You want them to get to Amazon and already think of you as the best solution for their problem. So that's getting into the buyer journey earlier in the process. Pinterest is one way to do that. People are on Pinterest planning things out weeks sometimes before they're ready to buy. So you have that opportunity. So you might run a Pinterest ad and not do any sales off of it, depending on what your product is. But you have a lot of saves and a lot of clicks. Well, those saves are people planning. You might not see the sale for a couple of weeks, but those saves are important. Saves are good engagement on Pinterest or anywhere, actually. So that kind of wraps up the presentation. So what we do and what we have through my website, we have our first workshop, which is free, and it's called Pinterest Traffic Domination. It is a deep dive in Pinterest. It's all of this and a lot more detail. Probably take you 3 or 4 hours or 3 or 4 days, depending on how deep into it you really get. But it's a start to finish of how to use Pinterest, and it takes you through making the pin, making choices, what to choose, creating your descriptions, all of that stuff. That's free. That's available through my website. And on Thanksgiving, we launched a new service, and it's a paid service, and it's a Pinterest launch service. And what we do is you open your account, then we go in, we optimize your account for SEO, we create 4 or 8 boards depending on the package, and then we create 8 optimized pins in each for each board. And then when we're done, I will give you all the research. You get a one-on-one with me where I give you all the keywords, the categories that are available to you, the different categories that you should use, your competitors, give you a lot of information to plan moving forward. So Pinterest isn't a start tomorrow and be rich on Friday board or a system. There is none like that. But Pinterest takes a little bit of time. You have to build up a following. This service that we offer basically gets you 3 months worth of work in 3 weeks, but we set you up to continue moving forward. There's software called Tailwind. Tailwind is a scheduler. As you build your account and you get a following and you get interactions with people, it starts moving forward with itself. Well, then you can step back and start scheduling your pins a month out. So really, you can sit down 1 day a month, spend 3 hours, and schedule your whole month on Pinterest, which is nice. When you first start on Pinterest, you want to be pinning your own content, but you want to pin other people's content as well. That's how you get followers and you get people interacting with your product. So if you sell ladies fashion, you want to pin other ladies fashion products to your account as well. And people that are looking at those pins will sometimes come to your account and they'll follow you. So let me just pull up one web thing. How are we doing for time?
We're good. We have a couple of questions, quite a few questions.
All right.
I've been taking so many notes too. I have lots of questions too. That was so good. There was so many knowledge bombs over there, Joe. That was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
let's take some questions here. Okay, so we have Ryan Miranda who's asking. First of all, she says, "Loving this, Joe. Amazing knowledge bombs." And then her question is, "What's the best way to gauge engagement on a pin post?"
Um, through Pinterest analytics, it'll gives you engagement. It tells you how many people saved it, how many impressions you've had, and there's a place for people to leave comments, and also they can say they tried it. So if somebody wants to indicate that they like your pin, Pinterest wants them to say, "I've tried this," and to be able to say they've tried it, they have to add an image to the pin of them using it, or a relatable or relevant image.
Okay. And then Ryan also asks, "What are the best way KPIs for Pinterest traffic, and what tools do we use?" So what are
Okay,
the KPIs?
so Pinterest traffic, like off Amazon traffic, um, you people tell you that you can't track off Amazon traffic and things like that. So Pinterest used to allow shortened URLs. They don't anymore. They're really tight about that. Um, so you have to be careful. They do allow the Amazon shortened URL now. Um, but you have to be careful with it. You can't, if you're going to use a page between your pin and Amazon, your page needs to be not a sales piece. It can't be hard sell. You want to talk about benefits and target emotions on that page anyway. But Pinterest, like Google, looks at the landing page as part of domain quality, and they assess if it looks spammy. They're not going to show your pin as much. Um, there are shorteners for other pin. So if you send your traffic to a landing page and then send them to Amazon, you have a chance to get an opt-in before they get to Amazon. So they're your client before Amazon, so you can get an opt-in. And then if you want, you can use your super URL or your Pixify, or one of those types of links to send them into Amazon to get some ranking credit out of it. Sniply, I don't know if you're familiar with Sniply, but Sniply is a URL shortener that lets you add a call to action to the shortener. Shorby lets you add a pixel. Shorby, yeah, Shorby, lets you add your Facebook pixel to the URL when it does shorteners. There's lots of different ways to do your traffic and to send traffic to wherever you want. I personally like Sniply because then I can share your content and add my call to action to your content. So you brand everything that you share. It really works out well. And you get a lot of really good analytics from that too. Amazon, forbid, you used to not be able to put affiliate links on Pinterest. You can now. There's a place in your Amazon account, in the affiliate account, where you can use Pinterest as your reference of where you're going to sell through. So it used to be you had to have a website to have an affiliate account. Not anymore. You can have a Pinterest account and set up and get an affiliate account. So how can that be beneficial to you? Let's say you sell blenders. That's all you sell, blenders, no accessories, none of that. You get an affiliate account, and on Pinterest, in your Pinterest profile, you set up pins with affiliate links to the things that go with your blender. Could be food type items, could be accessories, but you get sales off of that. You get commissions off of any of that. It's extra work, but if you only have one product or one SKU, it's a way of getting more people onto your profile and looking at your product.
That is a great strategy. Okay, so let's take this question from Aaron. He says, "Is there a way to see how much exposure you're getting on those big volume categories? Can you really get exposure without doing ads? I get going after subcategories, but large volume categories seems like you would be drowned by others' pins."
It's all timing. All right. When you get into the product feed, they show pins based on the newest pins. So if you're in a huge saturated category, you're only going to get a slice that see it. The more of your followers that interact with the pin, the longer they're going to put it there. However, people that have indicated that they like blenders or they like kitchen accessories, if your pin gets engagement from your followers initially, or Pinterest will put your pin up in different places on Pinterest for those people that have indicated that they are in like that category. So you might not end up in that feed per se, or you might end up in that feed, but you might also end up in other places, other home streams and things like that that have to do with that category afterwards. How do you gauge how much you're getting out of that? It's very difficult. That it comes down to engagement, which is saves, comments, things like that, which is through Pinterest analytics.
Okay. So another question from Aaron. He's launching a wood product for men, but targeting moms and wives because it's a giftable. Do you have a certain strategy for going after moms specifically, or still focus on the category aspect of the product?
Wide net. You want to go with a wide net. So this is what we do. This works really well. Any product that you post, if you're going to do an ad on Pinterest, include in the categories of health and beauty, weddings, and women's topics, because there are more women on Pinterest than men. Women tend to do more of the spending than men do for things. So you want to appeal to a woman. So if I'm selling a keyboard, I'm still going to target women because they're the ones that are buying this stuff. A wood product for a guy, there's a lot of guys on Pinterest. So that's where the multiple pins per product come into play. You take one pin and categorize target towards women, and the other pin and categorize target towards men. It's doable. It's definitely doable. But whenever we run a pin ad, we do a variation targeted towards women, and that normally does the best.
Okay. So we have a couple of questions about ads. So Raj is asking, are these ads paid or free? So of course they are paid ads, right?
Yes, they're Pinterest ads are paid ads. That's the one thing they don't do for free is their advertising. That's where they get their revenue from, obviously. But they're how do their clicks compare the dollar wise? It's a quality issue. Pinterest is quality over quantity. You want the higher quality that you have, the better your targeting is going to be. The better your rates are going to be, and the lower your prices. If your message isn't right, it's going to be expensive because you're going to be you're throwing mud at the wall looking to see if something sticks. That's part of also where A/B testing with your ads comes into play. If you do Facebook ads and you're used to A/B testing your Facebook ads, like if I were to run a Facebook ad, I might have 5 or 10 incarnations of that ad before I get to the final one that I'm happy with. Do the same thing with your Pinterest ads. A/B test everything, test the image, test the title, test the description, test the placement, test the audience, test the timing of it. I don't know everything. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't know everything. I still test everything. If I'm going to make an ad, a Pinterest ad or Facebook ad or any ad, first thing I do is I go on the internet and I search to the competitors. I want to know what's working and what's actually working in the market right now. And I look at that before I make mine. Am I going to make my ad the same as that? No, I might make it completely different. But if I don't know what's working, how am I even going to know to do that?
So how do ads work on Pinterest? Are we paying for clicks or conversions, or can we choose between the two like
You can
Facebook?
choose. You can choose. There are traffic camp. Let me open it up and I'll show you.
Yeah, let me share your screen here.
Yep.
And also, how does the CPC, cost per click or cost per conversion, compare to, say, Amazon or Facebook or other
It
channels?
it comes down to the quality of your message and your pin itself. I've seen people
What's
that
the range? Like, can it be cents, or does it, is it usually more than $1, for example?
Um, it, I've seen it as high as $4, $5, $6. I've seen it as low as 25, 30 cents.
And this is conversions or clicks.
Yeah, it's either or.
Okay.
So I don't run ads through my account, but let's get into create ad and I can show you some of the different things. So under create ads, you have different, so, what is your campaign objective? Traffic, brand awareness, video views, installations, conversions, and catalog sales. Uh, Traffic is the best objective.
Okay.
I would choose traffic over conversions in a heartbeat because it just has better. We've seen better results with it. So you have your details. You can give it a name. Let's go to show you some targeting. You can target by audience. If so, you can import your own audience. You can create custom audiences using your customer list or website visitors or whatever list you have, or you can create an audience through interests. I don't recommend using interests or using it very lightly. Keywords, keyword volume, that for me is a better item to target. Interest is just very, very vague unless you're able to drill it really far down. Interests can be very vague. If you look at your settings in Facebook and you look at your what Facebook thinks that you're interested in and what they send you ads for, if you look at an ad and you view an ad just because it's in your feed and it's about cars and you're not interested in cars, but you viewed it, so Facebook is going to think you're interested in it and will send you other ads. So be careful with ad targeting. That also has keyword targeting. And then you have some demographics. Demographics I'll use, definitely. And then there's ad group placement. You can add tracking URLs to your ads, and budgeting, scheduling, optimization, and delivery. There's all kinds of stuff. And then if you want, here's pins of mine, where it's giving me the opportunity to choose one of my pins to promote, as opposed to creating a new one. Then there's, you can do all kinds of stuff. So I don't have conversions or anything like that, but it's got pretty detailed reporting. There's a lot of information in here. It's like any other site or any other ad platform. They try to give you good information. There's you get keyword search terms out of it. From a cost standpoint, is it cheaper to get than Google AdWords or PPC? I think so, yes. But versus the way most people use PPC, yes, it is, because what I see is most people bidding on 2-word phrases, so PPC gets really expensive. But compared to long tail, if you focus on long tail like what we do, then it's negligible, because we're getting pennies per click on Google and Amazon because we only target long tail. So that's hard to beat on Pinterest.
Right. So there are no purchases happening on Pinterest, right? I mean, you are basically just driving traffic to your Amazon listing or your own website. The purchases are happening off of Pinterest.
Pinterest tried that, and you can make purchases through Pinterest. I believe that will be going away very, very soon because of the catalog feed and everything else. Group boards, something I should mention is group boards. Group boards, a lot of people use group boards to network. Group boards were taken away. Now they've come back. Group boards are where you collaborate on a board and you have an opportunity to get more followers. Group boards are great if you're not managing it. If you're going to manage a group board, you want to start your own group board, you just committed a lot of time to maintenance and getting rid of bad apples and reviewing pins and things like that. So I don't recommend starting any group boards yourself, but you can get on other people's group boards and collaborate. So if there's a group board in your niche, and there are plenty of group boards, get on one and it's a way of getting more eyes on your pin. A lot of them have rules that say for every pin that you pin to that group board, you have to repin other pins from the group board, one or two. It's as long as they're relevant, why not? But the administration of group boards is a nightmare. It's really, let other people administer it. You have your business to run. Let the people that are just doing Pinterest to do Pinterest, let them run the board and take that off your hands, because it's a lot of work. But it's a great way to grow your following.
Right. So there's a question about influencers. Are we allowed to tag influencers without their consent?
Well, let me show you here. Let me get back to my account. I'll show you how to find influencers on a subject.
Yeah, and who are these influencers? I mean, are these, moms or companies or individuals that are
They're
just very
more,
active on Pinterest?
yeah,
Or?
it's more people. Okay. The
Okay.
thing about Pinterest, let's get back to my. When you do a search on Pinterest, let's search for something. Let's search for running shoes. So when you do a search on Pinterest, first thing that happens is, as you're typing it in, it gives you this list here. These are keyword phrases that are searched on Pinterest. So this is in volume. Down here are other people that have the words running shoes in their name or on their boards. Okay. So then you hit enter, and Pinterest is trying to help you out here. This row right here, these are keyword phrases. Running shoes for men, Nike running shoes, women's running shoes, road running shoes, how to choose running shoes. These are all search phrases in volume order that Pinterest is giving you this information. But if you come over here, after you've hit enter and you get your search results, you see this drop down here, and it gives you opportunity. All pins, your pins or product pins, video pins about running shoes, people, and boards. People, that's where you find your influencers. So if I was sold running shoes, I would come in here and I would be looking for boards for people to follow. First, let me point this out since it popped out here. This is a Chrome extension that I use for Pinterest. It's actually really good for keyword discovery. That is offered by Seller SEO. It's free. So it's offered by Andy Arnott, and I don't even know what it's called. Let's see what it's called. It's called Pin Terms. And it's available through Seller SEO. So I'll show you how that works. We'll talk about running shoes. It opens up a new tab when you click it, gives you these different choices. But if you open up the keyword research tool and we type in running shoes and let it run, what this is doing is it's giving you all of that information that was there in the dropdown and that was across the top when you hit enter. And this will take a couple minutes to run, but it gives you a nice list. If you want to drill down into one of these terms, you just click this arrow and then it starts over with running shoes, how to choose. So what this does is it shows you, if you were to put multiple terms in here, so you put running shoes first, and then the next line is running shoes Nike. The next line is maybe red running shoes. It gives you rank. So it'll run the first one, just running shoes. It'll give you the rank. And then when it's done, it starts at 1 for the next term here. And it gives you the order that they come up. This is a great tool. I use this part of this tool a lot. It has this auto follow feature. I don't use that at all, tell you the truth. I want to follow. I want to see who I'm following. And, all these people aren't influencers. Some are, some aren't. But what you're looking for following people and to follow, is you're looking for a bunch of boards, somebody with a bunch of boards and followers. So let's click this one, AI Sportage. If we click this, first it shows us, their page. And what we do is you click community, and under community, it gives you their followers and people that they follow. So then if you just click in here, here's their followers. In here, you're looking for people like this, Deborah Brown, 1,300 followers, and she's pinned 33,400 pins. If there were sneakers, if there were running shoes in these images, I would follow her in a heartbeat. But because there's not, I'm going to click into her listing to see how many boards she actually has about running shoes. But those are the kind of people that you want to follow. So since it's running shoes, I'd be looking for people that have images of sports, 3,500 followers, 3,500 pins. I'd probably follow her right off the bat because she's got health and sports stuff, images that come right up, which means she's going to have boards, and those are the kinds of things she follows. But followers are about quality over quantity. One of the things you want to do on Pinterest or any social media channel is cross promote Facebook to your Pinterest users, promote Pinterest to your Facebook users, your Amazon buyers. Your most fanatical followers on Amazon and on Facebook, they'll follow you wherever you tell them you have a profile. They're the people that do that engagement for you, that will do the engagement when you first put up a pin. That just works very well. But
one strategy could also be to be an influencer yourself, right? To try and become an influencer in your specific category or niche, and
yes,
build a community.
Definitely. So our objective with what we do is we build communities because we're on multiple platforms. So we do a lot of content creation. I have clients that they sell one or two products, but their website is about the big picture, and the only product they sell through that website is their product. But their content will target the bigger picture. So let's say they sell a supplement. They might have a health and well-being website that has articles about all kinds of things about health, weight loss, things like that. And it doesn't look like it's, your e-commerce site. It looks like a magazine site almost. That builds community. That builds a lot of community. I have a client who no longer sells on Amazon. 16 months ago, he began his journey to create content and to drive content. In the last 12 months, he had 300 pieces of content created. And in November, he had 379,000 visitors to his website. He was suspended by Amazon on the 6th of October, and it's a subscribe and save product. He has successfully replaced his Amazon sales with his website sales. And he's not selling on Amazon anymore through content. And this, Pinterest feeds right into that. We
have another question from Baptiste. So he's asking, how would you quantify what is the percentage of total revenue from Pinterest one can expect if this is done correctly?
That's relative. I mean, I can sit here and I can give you a number. I can tell you 20,000, tell you 100,000. I can tell you $5. I don't quote those kind of numbers because it's BS to say that. If you do it right, you can theoretically sell a year's worth of product, in a week, if you have it in stock, of course. But there's bloggers that are generating 200,000 visits a month off of Pinterest. Mom bloggers are huge on Pinterest. So one of the questions you asked was somebody who had a wood product for men, and but he was targeting women. If that's a product that can also be targeted for moms, one way to do it is to target mom bloggers. Mom bloggers and influencers. Influencers are fickle. Okay, some of these people will charge you $1,000 for a shout out or $500 for a shout out, which is ridiculous. Don't ever pay that. But they'll give you a free guest post on their website. That makes no sense, but I see it every day. people with websites and blogs, they need posts, they want posts. So if you have this woodworking product, so you target the mom bloggers or the woodworking blogs and do a guest post where you're not selling in it, but it's a branded guest post and you're building authority. It's getting people aware of your brand and your product. You always want to make sure that your content has an offer awareness to it. You want to make sure it's branded so people know who you are. Don't ever write a piece of content and not do an author bio or something, but it doesn't have to. What I'm saying is don't make a piece of content that's just a sale or an ad piece. That doesn't get you anywhere except kick to the curb. People don't read ads. They read things that interest them and they're searching for solutions. So write a piece about a solution, how your product or your category can solve a problem for them. There's a lot of people driving a lot of traffic on Pinterest, a lot. Mom bloggers are driving the most.
Right. And you mentioned business accounts. So I was wondering how easy is it to, set up a business account for someone who's not based in the US? Or does it not matter? Is it the same for?
It's the same. It's not like Amazon. If you're not based in the US, setting up a business account you don't have to be verified in that sense. But if my account was a personal account, I would just do this and it would say right here, add a free business account. It's really easy. And they want now to get a business account, they want a phone number.
Okay.
Everybody's got a phone number, and it's not, it's not just US. You don't have to buy a US phone, temporary phone like some accounts, to get verified, that kind of thing. They don't care. Right now on Pinterest, they have more men and more people from other countries signing up than the US at the moment. So that's for international sellers, that's a good thing.
Right.
Now, does that make you say, oh, forget it then, because I'm targeted at US people? No, not whatsoever, because a lot of foreigners buy on Amazon US and have it shipped. There's a lot of people doing stuff like that. They use these sites. To get ideas from, and then they end up spending money.
Right. So guys watching, if you have any more questions, we're going to be here for a couple more minutes. Type them in the Facebook post or LinkedIn
Here's
post.
my contact information again.
Yes. So Andy Arnott was watching on LinkedIn and he says, sweet tool.
Good. And that's his extension.
Yeah.
I'm glad he saw that.
Cool. So, while we're waiting for some last questions over here, tell us more about your workshop and, your services. So your workshop is free, right? The workshop over here. Yep. And then how much does your service cost?
So right now, we just launched the Pinterest launch service. And right now you can get 4 boards and 8 pins per board, plus optimization and all that for, let me get this right, $199. And that also includes the launch comes with a one-on-one with me at the end, but it includes an extra 2 hours of coaching with me. And that can be on any e-commerce subject. That doesn't have to be about Pinterest. Most of the people who've used it have used it for Amazon and other things besides Pinterest. But when I deliver the final launch product to you, you have a pathway forward with the relevant categories that you want to post in, keywords, competitors, I give you a lot of information. Plus I give you a 25-page guide on SEOing your titles, SEOing your descriptions, checklists for your images. So if you're the one moving your account forward or you hire a VA, you have it right there. So walk through for whoever does it. So we have 2 packages. We have the light package, which is 4 boards, 8 pins per board, or we have the standard package, which is 8 boards and 8 pins per board. So 64 pins, which is a lot. And that is right now it's $299, and that also includes the 2 hours of one-on-one coaching. And that actually was supposed to end on New Year's, and I've extended it a little bit because of some of the presentations I'm doing. So that will be available through Monday of next week. And then at that point, each package will go up $100. So it's $199 or $299 right now, and you get the extra coaching with me, and you get access to our Facebook group and some pretty interesting people.
Yeah, I think that's a real good value. I mean, you get started on Pinterest and just getting the foundation and getting things going. I think it's just so important. So I might take you up on
Okay.
that.
The game plan,
Yeah.
the coaching and the game plan are worth more,
Yeah.
more than what we're charging. And it's, I want to see people do well, and we see sellers getting on Amazon all the time, and there's just so much to learn, and they're impatient, and I understand that. So, we're trying to help you get a leg up. It gets you on the right track right away. If you take what I give you and you keep moving it forward, you're going to do
Yeah.
really well. You will do well.
So Raj says, great stuff, Joe. Really appreciate your time for sharing. And Raj has one more question. He's
Uh-huh.
asking Amazon versus Shopify, for which one Pinterest will work better?
Um, It depends on what your goals are. I would say Shopify, because you can upload your catalog, and you can create content on the Shopify blog as well. So you have more opportunities of where to point people, versus Amazon, you're just pointing them all to your listing. But the nice part of pointing them to your listing is they don't see the competitors' prices. They don't see the next guy's got 1,000 reviews and you have 5. They don't see that. Okay, they go right to your listing, and it's warm traffic. So if you do a good job with pre-selling, they don't need to see the reviews. They've already decided they want this before they even get to you on Pinterest. They're already looking for it. So there's a lot of benefit in warm traffic. But there's also a lot of benefit on Shopify. My own opinion, and what I instruct my clients, Amazon's our most expensive sales channel. We do all of our marketing on the big picture marketing. So all of our marketing includes multiple payment types at the bottom. Amazon is a payment type as far as I'm concerned. So if you like to buy on Amazon, I'm going to tell you that I have it available, but it's not going to be the only thing that I tell you is available. I don't buy on Amazon. If you put me in your Facebook funnel and it's just offering Amazon, I laugh as I click out. When you could easily put a Stripe button in there too, and fulfill through Amazon, and then I might buy. But if you don't give me an option besides Amazon, I'm gone. And since there's 5 times Amazon's worldwide membership logging into Facebook every day, you're going to have non-Amazon people going into your funnel unless you tell them before they click your ad that it's Amazon only. Why waste traffic? That's the way I look at it.
Okay, so looks like we don't have any more questions. So that's your website, right?
Yes, ma'am.
ecommerce-optimizer.com. And so yeah, guys, I would really encourage all of you to at least go and sign up for the free workshop. I think it's going to be super, super valuable. And if you're serious about Pinterest, then check out the services that Joe offers. I think 199 is just is really good value for the kind of things that they're offering. You're getting started on Pinterest, a lot of information, knowledge, and all of this is not available anywhere else, right? I mean, that's the most important thing to consider. I
Yep.
think, Joe, you are probably the only Pinterest expert for e-commerce specifically. So yeah, thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
and all of the knowledge and expertise that you've shared over here. We really, really, really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you around hopefully.
Yes, you will. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
You have a
Thanks a
great
lot for
day.
watching, guys. And yeah, we'll be back with another live webinar in a couple of days. We've got one planned for Saturday, so look out for that. All right,
Outstanding.
thanks a lot, everyone. Bye.